Assalamu alaikum, Shafina. Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Walaikum Assalam, Ramadan Mubarak to you and to everyone watching and listening.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Was it day four today?
I think so. Is it day four?
It's
Yeah, day four. Day four. I think it's day four. I'm losing track already.
clocks.
So
So it's gonna be all different for iftar and for tarawihs and everything because the clocks have changed.
yeah, I got really confused. So I ate earlier just in case. I honestly didn't. I couldn't work out the time, and I didn't know what Google was saying. So I literally was like, I woke up at 4, and I was like, okay, let me eat now, just
Yeah.
so I don't pass the time. But better to eat earlier. Okay, so this week's topic that we were speaking about is emotional intelligence. This is something that I've getting to terms with and starting to understand that it's an actual thing. So I'm going to let Naseem take the lead on this one.
Okay. Okay. So emotional intelligence, in my opinion, is if you marry someone without emotional intelligence, you're setting yourself up, in my opinion, into a very difficult relationship because the benefits of having somebody in your life who has emotional intelligence can tell when you're feeling sick, can tell when you're feeling down, can tell when you need a bit of space, can tell when there's can read the room or read the situation is a really huge plus point rather than someone who's just a bull in a china shop and doesn't understand. So that would be like the primary reason for having a partner with high emotional intelligence. So in terms of yourself, have you came across people on your journey with high emotional intelligence? Like what sort of traits have you seen in people that you've mixed with?
Well, I mean, there's a few things that you mentioned, and I'm thinking, oh, you know what? At some points in my life, I probably lacked, in all honesty, some emotional intelligence. Obviously, learning from experience now, I'm like, okay, that could have been better then. I could have worked on this better. So now I feel like it's been definitely been a journey of growth. However, I have come across people that have had, I guess, less emotional intelligence than myself. And then it results in like frustration of not being heard, not being understood. Um, it does get very, very, it, it ends in disaster, basically. I mean, you can't even communicate. And sometimes I feel there's different levels of emotional intelligence. So some people's emotional intelligence will match someone else's, if that makes sense. This is what I'm trying to understand now. So yours could be here and that person's could be like here. Everyone's different, or you could meet someone else and theirs could be here. And if it's not equal, then I feel like there's a miscommunication. So I'm thinking now there isn't just like you either have it or you don't. There could be different levels of emotional intelligence, if that makes sense. That's what I'm starting to feel now.
Yep, yep, definitely. And I think that looking at it, experiencing a conversation with someone who's got emotional intelligence
Mm.
can understand that, look, if something's not going right, taking some time out, maybe when you're feeling a little bit, upset or you're feeling a little bit emotional about it, go take a walk, go take a shower, relax, and come and revisit that topic. Or some people say that, don't sleep on a problem, always discuss a problem before you go to sleep. Sometimes I believe, my personal opinion, maybe you'll agree or disagree with it, Shafina, is once you've slept, you're rested, and then you have that conversation after you've rested and say, look, hey, yesterday this happened. Can we talk about it? In a much more calmer mindset, mind frame than, oh, you did, and then it just turns into a whole huge argument. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And to be honest, a long time ago, when I was a lot younger, I did think that basically, no, we must discuss everything before you go to sleep. Don't sleep on it. You have that thing. However, speaking now from experience, sometimes it's better to Aramse just kind of, you know what? I'm going to sleep on this. I'm going to sleep on this. I've had a long day. This is not the time and place to be discussing anything. And maybe we just need to sleep it off, cool down, then talk. I'm very much in favor of never speaking when it's in the heat of the moment or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm very much like, you know what? I'm going to walk. I'm going to go for a walk. I don't need anyone screaming or shouting at me. I don't tolerate that behavior. I'm good, and let's just take a breather. I don't know, go do something that makes you feel a bit happy, come back again. And then when we're ready to talk in a civil manner, then I'm good. that's for me, I think that's the right way, and I think that's a good level of emotional intelligence, for me. And you mentioned something about reading the room, and I think one time there was a situation I was pointed out that I couldn't read the room properly or something. And I don't know. I think there was a lack of me having to grow, as a person. And now, I'm grateful for that moment, that that person, sort of pointed out, saying, you know what, you need to learn how to do this. You don't quite always read the room. And like I mentioned, like, we're not perfect. We're always growing. Um, so I can look back now and reflect, where could I have become better, or what could I have done better? Um, doesn't mean though you return back to that situation, because it just wasn't the healthiest of situations. But you can always learn from situations. One thing as well, this is kind of a bit of a slight off topic, but in terms of relationships with people that uh, if something doesn't work out in a marriage, or when you're getting to know someone, there will always be pros and cons. It won't be 100% bad. There will be some things that you would have learned and gained because it's experience. And I feel those sort of learns and gains that you get can add to your emotional intelligence in future, because we're not sort of born with it. We learn and we grow. Some people that are older than us, maybe they haven't had much experience, and they don't grow their emotional intelligence. Just because you're older doesn't mean you have more than someone else that's younger. That's another thing. Age is just a number. Experience is a whole different matter. I've kind of gone into a different area, but do you
I
see
know
where I'm coming from?
it's very valid, and I think that someone with emotional intelligence is able to diffuse a situation better instead of aggravating the situation. So, there's a couple of methods. You can use the sandwich effect. You can acknowledge that maybe you could have done something better and apologize. And there's just different ways of diffusing a situation. Someone with emotional intelligence can very quickly act on that, and someone who doesn't will then keep that the air will still remain thick, the air will still remain awkward, the situation will still remain uncomfortable if the whatever the situation was is not dealt with. So the sandwich effect is talking about something good, talking about the problem in the middle. So it's almost like a sandwich. You've got your big piece of bread, your thin slice of cucumber, and your big piece of bread. So you compliment that person, say, look, all of these things are great. Like we're doing good here, and I'm grateful for this, XYZ. However, yesterday this happened and it really hurt me. And it'd be really great that if you wouldn't do it like this, maybe you would do it like that. And then end it with, I'm really grateful. We have a really solid relationship. I'm happy that I can approach you and I can speak my mind to you. So using the sandwich effect will is another form of diffusing the situation. And again, apologize. Say, look, I said, acknowledging yourself, thinking like I had a conversation with a client this morning, and he said, I don't even need an apology. I just need the person to recognize that maybe they were a little bit mean to me, or maybe they shouldn't have said that. That's enough. Like, I'm not waiting for an apologies. I'm just waiting for an acknowledgement. And I thought that was cool as well. I'm like, acknowledgement is good. No, it doesn't have to be an apology. So everybody is different, but I think that a sincere apology goes a long way as well.
100%. And I really appreciate the sandwich effect. Moving forward, that's probably something that I will use in future. Just it's just about handling things much better. And I always feel like sometimes people think that they don't need any support, that they know it all and it's fine, and they've had this many years experience and blah 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 blah, whatever comes with it. But then if we look at it from, say, an Islamic perspective, we're meant to always be learning, we're meant to always be growing. It's important to see how we can become better. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, I'm just thinking now, like the way you're saying the sandwich effect, that's very, very interesting. Compliment the person, say, that's great that this happened. However, this is what's bothering me, and can we talk about it? And ideally, the other person would say, yeah, let's talk about it, not sweep beneath the carpet and let's cover it up with going out for dinner and pretending nothing happened. Like, it's, you have to address the problem, otherwise it never gets sorted out, and it will keep sort of rehappening. But anyway, so yeah, the middle bit is to address it and just say, hey, it's what's happening. I wasn't really too keen on this. Could we work on it? Okay, cool. And then the last bit, I guess the emotional intelligence, when you have it, you've got the security with that person to trust with you've got them, so that basically you can trust them with your emotions.
Yeah.
Like, thanks so much for hearing me out, not sort of judging me on that, and allowing me to express how I feel. and therefore we worked on it, and that sort of solidifies the sandwich or that relationship as well. It makes it stronger for sure, because you're gonna have disagreements. Yeah.
So just on that point, you're saying that the benefits of emotional intelligence is very connected to the person self-reflecting. So an emotional intelligent person will self-reflect and they'll take stock of what did I do well in that conversation? What did I do not so great? Because in the heat of the moment, you can say lots of things and think back. Like I hear it all the time. Or yesterday, I said this to my sibling, or I said this to my friend, or it wasn't the best of things. But so self-reflecting and understanding, okay, next time I'm going to deal with that situation differently is emotional maturity. It comes out of emotional intelligence. So emotional maturity. So you can have a really young person with high emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, high level of self-reflection, and you could have a much older person who's still, as a young girl or still as a boy, and they haven't managed to emotionally understand themselves and understand how to communicate with a whole different level of people and still expect things done for them, things to go their way, things not to have to negotiate and compromise because they see things a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of having things being seen a certain way. Maybe I get it from my father, bless his soul. I'm like, this is right. This is the way it should be. If you don't get it, I don't understand. Like, but through the hard way, I've had to understand that, my siblings, for example, my siblings and I are totally different. All of us are very, very different. And I just kind of like have accepted that, okay, that's how they do things and it is what it is. Um, and I guess that was a big growth for me, to be honest, to be okay with that, and I guess just appreciating the level that they're at. I mean, and I guess what I can say is with regards to emotional intelligence, it's there's that with your partner or the person you're getting to know, or your spouse if anyone's married or whichever, but then there's also, say, emotional intelligence with family members that you may have as well. Whilst we're on this topic, sometimes, obviously your family is your family. However, I'm a very big believer that you can distance yourself from different levels, because everyone's not going to have the same understanding as you. They're not going to have the same mindset or emotional intelligence as you. You can try and sort of teach it. It would be nice because then it would be a lot more functional within your family. However, it doesn't always work out like that. So yeah, I tend to just keep it a bit of a arm's length.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
totally. And the beautiful compliment I got from one of my clients,
Mm.
I spoke to a few weeks ago. He was my client from a couple of years ago, and now he's back. He's looking for a companion. He's in a different place in life, etc. So he's looking at like more side hustles and getting himself financial on his feet and thinking about relationship and then taking care of his partner, etc., etc. But he said to me, he goes, "Remember we did sessions 2 years back?" I said, "Yeah, how could I forget?" And he goes, "The biggest thing I learned," and he goes, "and to this day, 2 years in, I've never had a fight. I have never. I use the sandwich effect with my boss, with my mom, with my friends, the girl I'm talking to, like everybody in my life. I'll think, oh, sandwich effect, and I've managed to stay out of a fight for 2 years. Can you believe it? That's how
Wow.
powerful it is. Yeah.
Wow. No, that is really good. I mean, I'm going to do a little bit more research on that and see, because I'm always having little annoyances with, I mean, I've had a lot of dynamics change recently, and definitely there's been improvement. But if I can actually learn, there's actually a sandwich effect and work on that. Oh my God, you can master all your relationships with everybody, your
Mhm.
boss, who you work with, your friends, anybody. That's awesome. Very, very.
And along
That,
with emotional intelligence, sorry, it's this kind of side topic, but just something I wanted to share with you as well is the power of positive thinking. And obviously, the people talk about it, all this manifesting and this and that. And some people say it's airy fairy, some people it's real. But Rasul Pak Salam taught us way back when that, you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you believe in the good in people, you have hope, you have dreams, you give in charity. So all the things that we're taught from a faith-based perspective are all around emotional intelligence and all around um, being the best version of ourselves and having that pushing the negative thoughts. So our brain is like 98% programmed to think negative. So we've got like that 2% that we need to keep working on. So we don't want to be sitting in the negative default, which is like everybody. But if you allow that side of your brain to win, then you haven't won yourself as a person. So it is about thinking, well, alhamdulillah, that's happened, and I did it with one of my coaching sessions the other day. And I said, look, anything positive that's happened to you, keep it at the front of your mind. Have a little window at the front of your mind and just put that at the front. Anything that's been not so great, have a bin at the back of your mind and just think, the bin. And then I did a session with her this week and she goes, I put 10 things in the bin this week. I went, did you? I was like
Oh
so
my
pleased.
God.
I'm like, wow. She goes, oh my God, it's changed my life. I just look at somebody who's talking to me and think, yeah, that's a bin conversation. Bin.
This random trash can behind you. I love it. Oh my God. That's such a good analogy or metaphor, whatever it's called. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna carry a little trash can at the back of my I say trash can, so I still haven't quite got hold of the word bin.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's very English word. Sorry, but yeah, that's what
No, no. No,
it's
it's all good. It's all good. No, I love this. And I feel like a lot of things, and the thing is, we're never going to be perfect, but we can always try and become better. So don't hate on yourself if you think, oh, I messed up. That's how much effect or whatever. Keep practicing it. Let us know how you get on with that. That's a really, really good, it's not a tactic, but it's a skill.
yeah.
A skill, it's a tool. I think it's a nice tool to use. There's a really good book as well, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie. I've read it. It's
Yeah,
very
Dale Carnegie. Yeah, I think get the audio as well on Audible.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's very good. If anybody's listening, they should
yeah,
definitely listen to that book. It'll
yes.
make you see things in a different perspective for sure. But yeah, I was thinking, Shafina, I don't know how you feel about it, that we should maybe talk about some kind of real topics of like real life. So, how a divorced person is feeling, or how a single mother is feeling, or, a single dad is feeling. Like, what are their journeys and experiences in trying to find a companion and maybe what hurdles they have. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that would be good. I know this whole podcast, we're going to be covering all sort of areas, and each sort of week will lead into another sort of topic, but 100%, because I know a lot of the clientele there's a lot of single women out there, all the single ladies. There'll be a lot of single women out there, and there'll be a lot of single mothers out there, and there'll be a lot of divorced women out there, and divorced men, of course. Divorced dads or single dads, or whichever way. And I think it'll be really interesting to discuss those topics and see. I know I can have a lot of plus points on certain topics and areas. I'm already thinking, my brain's already going, so I won't say anything just yet. But definitely on the next podcast, we can definitely talk about some of those areas for sure.
Excellent. Well, today's been really, really good. I've really enjoyed today's session. Shaf, as usual, it's been good. I hope that everyone listening has benefited as well. And if we can help you in any way, you've got the links below. Just send us a message, drop us a DM. We're more than happy to hear your questions and hear your opinions. And obviously, if there's any further topics that anybody does want us to speak about, do let us know. We'd be happy to open up the doors to other conversations and topics that are maybe more current and maybe more something that our listeners would like to hear more about. But yeah,
For
I
sure.
will see you guys all in the next
Next
segment.
episode.
It'll be
Yeah.
next Tuesday again because we always run on a Tuesday. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you, Shafina, and thank you for everyone listening today. Hope you're having a good Ramadan. I'll be keeping you all in my duas and look forward to catching you next time.
Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to this podcast. If you found this beneficial, give this video a like and hit the subscribe button to be notified for the next episode.